Hello, netizens. Welcome to another episode of News Analysis, where we discuss trending issues, where we talk about current happenings in the society. Now, if you're joining us for the first time and you're still yet to subscribe to this channel, what are you waiting for? Do not delay any longer. Hit that subscription button now so you can become part of this news family. So, on today's episode of News Analysis, the president of the Association of Christian Theologians, also known as ACTS, in the person of Professor Kunle Macaulay, has expressed disagreement with the General Superintendent of Deeper Life Church, Pastor William Komoyi, over his recent remarks on church successorship. Now, Pastor Komoyi, in this trending speech, which he titled My Successor, emphasized that God, rather than human leaders, chooses church successors, citing biblical references. He drew parables and parallels between the appointment of Joshua after Moses' death and the process of selecting church leaders. He also urged Deeper Life leadership not to rely on him for a succession plan, but to trust in divine guidance. However, Macaulay said, no. This thing when you talk like this, no balance. He criticized this position, arguing that there is a fundamental distinction between Israel and the Christian church of today, as well as between the Old and the New Testament. He contended that Christianity is based on the movement of God with his people, whereas Judaism pertains to the religious practice of the Jewish nation. Macaulay, the president of the Acts group, asserted that Christian leaders are expected to train and mentor their successors to ensure continuity in leadership. He noted that for over a century, Orthodox and Pentecostal churches in Nigeria have followed this practice. He warned that the absence of a clear succession plan could lead to leadership crisis and mismanagement. Now, highlighting past leadership challenges in Nigerian churches, Macaulay pointed to the case of the Celestial Church of Christ founder, Reverend Pastor Samuel Belewu Joseph Oshofa, who did not name a successor before his death in 1985. And this particular incident left the church in disarray. He also referenced the leadership transition at Fountain of Life Church, where the late Pastor Taiwo Odukoya's son took over, and the Church of God Mission, which was handed over to the wife of its founder, Archbishop Benson Idahosa, despite not being among the trained bishops. Macaulay's emphasis was that while the church leadership should actually be guided by the Holy Spirit, common sense also dictates that these people who have served faithfully should be considered for leadership succession. He stressed the need for Nigerian church leaders to encourage leadership training, academic seminars, and summits to help future leaders. Last, he concluded by saying he expressed his concerns over a situation where long-term church workers would have dedicated decades to service. They would dedicate all their life to service in the church, and then they are ultimately told to wait for divine selection rather than being recognized for leadership roles. According to him, he said the quality of leadership in Nigerian churches will ultimately determine the spiritual success or failure of the country. Una agree? What's your take on this particular issue? There's a place for the direction of the Holy Spirit, and there's a place for training of leaders and training of successors. But are successors actually trained? This netizen says the both are right in these various explanations. The thing is that God is not static. God is God. God is dimensional. The way he leads a church in choosing its successor today may be different from the way he leads another church in choosing their own successor. But let's know that the both are correct in their own way. This netizen says, but Jesus Christ appointed Peter as his successor, as he openly said, upon this rock I will build my church, referring to Peter. Among the 12, he was fond of many others, and he had some special mentoring experience with him, and his closest relationship with them did not leave any doubt Prof is very right. By now, some members, especially the inner circle, should know who will succeed him, as in the case of Elijah and Elisha. This netizen says, I disagree with Prof. Kunle Macaulay on these views. To other churches on leadership successorship, we need to be reminded that Pastor W.F. Kumuyi is a unique servant of God. His doctrinal teachings are Bible-based. He has over the years groomed potential leaders globally that can succeed him should he go home before the rapture. Thus, he did not project his children, family members above any member of Deeper Life family. Holy Spirit and common sense is an aberration to true worship. This netizen says, I think this prof is getting it wrong. Your view is why church has been turned to family empire. If God called a man to establish a work, the same man should seek the face of God for who to succeed him, Abio. God only supports the one he chooses. Can't you see the exploits of Redeem under Pastor Adeboye? This was because the founder allowed God to choose him. Another netizen says, if this is so, W.F. Kumuyi should pray for God to open his eyes and for direction. Another netizen says, if W.F. Kumuyi is saying he doesn't know who his successor will be, then it's fine. Others should just join and pray so that God would lead him well. This netizen says, my brother Macaulay, you understand Christianity, but not in the right way. He's not saying it's wrong to be led by the Spirit. He's not saying it's wrong to use common sense. All he's saying is that in addition to common sense, last, now God get the church. Last, now God go choose who go succeed him. But what's your own comment regarding this issue? Religious issue be say everybody gets their own support, everybody get their own narrative. So maybe hear your own. Drop out for the comment section below. And if you never still subscribe to this channel, subscribe to this channel. May you get current notification.